Trump's getting sued yet again. This time it's Maurene Comey, the daughter of former FBI director, who has filed a lawsuit today after she lost her job as a prosecutor, as a federal prosecutor. She's suing Donald Trump in the executive office of the president and is also suing Pam Bondi. More on that name later. Yes, I said Blondie and not Bondi, but she's suing Pam Bondi. But we're going to call her Pam Bondi a couple of times today. I'm Sean Kernikian. That's Brian Kabateck. This is Civil Action on the Legal AF Network. If you like this content, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with our videos here. Brian, let's start with this lawsuit that's filed.
Right. So let's start with who exactly is Maurene Comey. You've mentioned it already that she's not only the daughter of former FBI director James Comey. We'll circle back and talk about him in just a moment. But she's also a decorated prosecutor in New York. She was the lead prosecutor in the Sean Combs trial. She was the lead prosecutor of Ghislaine Maxwell. She was involved in the prosecution of Jeffrey Epstein before he mysteriously died. She's been involved in a number of high-profile cases. She's a very young, very successful prosecutor, very highly regarded, and she was unceremoniously and illegally, in our opinion, fired in July.
Yeah.
And what led up to her firing is none other than Laura Loomer herself. So take it away, Sean, because we've covered Laura Loomer as one of our mega Muppets in the past.
Well, Laura Loomer is a very highly regarded, well-spoken,
no different person, Sean, clearly.
No, she's not. No, Laura Loomer is someone that's, people have generally thought of as a confidant of Donald Trump. And I'm being very careful. I'm not saying she is, because she has a history of suing people that say not nice things about her. Probably because there aren't a lot of nice things to say about her. I could say that. That's not just an allegation.
That's an opinion.
Right. Okay, fine. It's my opinion. All right. But anyway, Laura Loomer, people say that she has great influence over Donald Trump. People say that she was vying for a position in the administration. She doesn't have an official position in the administration, but the folks say that in the background, she has some influence with Donald Trump. Let's leave it at that. Let's not say anything else. I don't want to be put in the position Bill Maher is in right now. But tell us, Brian, what influence she is alleged to have over the firing?
She's very close to Trump. There's no question about that. She has 1.7 million followers, and she started in May of this year on Miss Comey, and referred to as James Comey's liberal daughter. Now, what led up to this is there's a long history between James Comey and Trump, and that history starts with the battle when Comey was FBI director, got fired. He wrote a book. In the book, he said things about Trump that weren't flattering. Ultimately, in the spring of this year, there was some message he posted on social media that, written out in seashells by the seashore, it said 86-47. 86 typically meaning get rid of or throw out. 47. Immediately, the far right went in nuts and said that he was trying to assassinate the president. He was going to try to assassinate the president. But there's no connection between anything that the father did and the daughter discharging her responsibilities as a prosecutor. She's not an elected official. She's not appointed by the president of the United States. She's a career prosecutor in the U.S. Attorney's Office in New York. So what does Loomer do? Well, first of all, Loomer has got some problem with Pam Bondi, who she refers to consistently in social media as Pam Blondie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My theory is, we talked about this before, my theory is, and this isn't a fact, so Laura Loomer, if you're listening and gearing up your lawsuit machine, calm down. My theory is that she's maybe a bit jealous of Pam Bondi. Maybe she wanted that position.
Well, and there may be some proof in that, because here's one of the tweets or one of the posts that Loomer issued, referring to both Loomer and Comey and her husband, who's also a prosecutor, as working in the Department of Justice, which is, quote, currently led by the ever incompetent Attorney General Pam Bondi. That's a quote.
Yeah. And
kind of proves your point.
Yeah, and she framed it as, I wonder if Trump knows, if Pam Bondi has told Trump that James Comey's daughter, is still working for him and stuff.
Right. So Ms. Comey, Maurene Comey, has filed this lawsuit for wrongful termination in violation of her rights. And in it, there is a plethora of information tying the father to the daughter, to Loomer, to the firing. right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it goes for. Is said that if Comey doesn't get arrested and Pam Bondi doesn't fire James Comey's daughter from the DOJ, then you'll know all of the talk about accountability from the DOJ is nothing more than a Fox News talking point. If we care about law and order, now's the time for Blondie to prove it. So let me just point this out, Sean, is that Maurene Comey is prosecuting people and going after criminals.
Right.
So what does that have to do with someone not doing their job?
She's a deep state operative. She's James Comey's daughter, and it gets clicks for Laura Loomer. So of course she's going to peddle bullshit like this.
Right. Well, here's the problem, Sean. We need to talk about this. Is why is this illegal? Well, there's something called the Civil Service Reform Act of 1978, which protects civil service employees from specifically political firings. Specifically.
That wouldn't happen in the Trump administration, a political firing. I mean, no, all kidding
Only
aside.
in days that end in the letter Y.
Yeah. Well, we just covered the lawsuit that was filed last week on behalf of 3 FBI employees that were in leadership positions who were fired by Kash Patel, another one of our favorite characters, for political reasons, for political disloyalty. They were terminated. This is very similar to that. It's because of her political affiliation. And that's what the Civil Service Reform Act says. You can't terminate someone primarily because of their political affiliation or association or their perceived political views. And this, I think, in my opinion, this squarely fits within that sort of framework right there. This was a firing for her association with her father. That's what I think. That's my opinion.
Well, that's what they allege in the complaint. That's what they allege in the lawsuit. And but more than that, this system exists, this law exists to protect civil service employees, and specifically outlines how you fire a civil service employee for cause. Yeah. And you can't fire them for cause without giving them due process, and none of that, because exactly what happened here is Maurene Comey at about 5:00 in the afternoon in July received an email advising her that she had been terminated immediately. She went to, and if you understand the structure of these U.S. attorney offices, there is a single person who's appointed as a U.S. attorney, normally by the president confirmed. Sometimes they're interim, but that's the head of the office. That's the political appointee of the office. And then under them are civil service employees. And she went to the U.S. attorney at the time and she said, "What is this about?" And he said, I have no idea. This came direct from Washington. Yeah. So he wasn't even consulted.
And contrast this with her, the lawsuit also goes over all the accolades she's gotten and all the positive reviews and performance ratings and all those things. I mean, look, for example, she is highly respected and is a leader in the office. She is a brilliant lawyer and a gifted supervisor. She is the lawyer the office turns to when legal excellence is a must. You've never said any of those things to me, Brian, or about me. She handled. What's that? I'm neither of those.
She deserved them. She deserved them.
Oh, she deserved them, and I don't. I'm none of those. Yeah. Well, Miss Comey has handled the highest profile cases in the office because her judgment, work product, and courtroom advocacy are among the finest in the country. Again, nobody says that about me. But no, all kidding aside, I mean, these are she objectively got to these positive ratings and positive commentary, yet she's fired.
In addition to that, Sean, there's now over 20 career prosecutors. And I want to be very clear about this again. These are career civil service prosecutors. Their jobs are protected and you can't fire them for cause. And over 20 so far have been fired by the Trump administration because in some way they were tied into prosecutions, attacks, investigations on Trump or his allies.
Well, let's talk about it. I'll give you my sort of closing thought on this because I don't want to go too long about this, but I'd like to talk, Brian, and maybe you could talk about this too. The reason why you need cause to terminate people in these positions, but part of it is because you don't want prosecutorial offices, the law enforcement offices to become politicized. You don't want people going out and doing someone's political bidding. You don't want someone going out and engaging in their job as a law enforcement person or as a prosecutor with political loyalties in mind. You want them to be acting independently. You want them to be acting objectively. And because that's how they're going to do their job the best. That's what this country, that's what this system requires. It requires zealous advocacy on both sides, objective representation, some prosecutor especially who's going to go after criminals, you don't want them to be motivated by politics. You want them to be motivated by what's right and wrong. You want them motivated by the desire to stop crime or punish those who've committed crimes. That's what you want. And when you do this, it makes people operate in a very calculated, much more calculated political manner. And that's what I see the risk is here.
And my last word on this is, and that's exactly what the Trump administration doesn't want.
Yeah.
Period.
They don't want objectivity.
They do not want objectivity. They want people that they can control, and they want a political office, and they want to use it as a weapon against their enemies, despite the fact that they keep talking about the weaponization of the FBI and the Department of Justice. So that's all I got on this. Let's stay tuned and let's see where this lawsuit goes.
Yeah, we'll keep up with this, and we'll see if there's anything big that happens here. I'm Sean Trinikin. That's Brian Kabateck. This is Civil Action on the Legal AF Network. If you like this content, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share with us your comments. We like hearing your feedback. We actually read the comments, and we try to, keep our stories in line with what you guys want to hear. Tune in next time, and thanks for tuning in this time.
Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.